Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmates. Good morning, world. So, speaking of the world, how about let's talk about the global cities? So, why do we need to study global cities? Because first, globalization is spatial because it occurs in physical spaces. Number two, globalization is spatial because what makes it move is the fact that it is based in places. Cities act on globalization and globalization acts on cities. They are the sites as well as the mediums of globalization. Just as the internet enables and shapes global forces, so to do cities. What is global city? So global city also, that is an urban center that enjoys significant competitive advantages and that serves as a hub within a globalized economic system. That is according to Charnock. And also a global city, a significant production point of specialized financial and producer services that make the globalized economy run. So that is also according to REN 2012. So what are the functions of global city? So according to Saskia Sassen, that global cities are strategic sites that manage and guide the global economy. Many of these cities were already centers for international trade and banking. Now as global cities, they have four new functions. These are the following functions. We have one, as highly concentrated command points in the organization of the world economy. So some cities, of course, their economies are improving. Number two, also as key locations of finance and specialized service, which have replaced manufacturing as the leading economic sectors. We have number three, as sites of production, including innovation in these leading sectors. And the last one, number four, as markets of the products and innovation. So those are the functions of global city. And later, we will talk about the top 10 global power cities. So how about what are the attributes of global city? So we have 12 attributes of global city that we will be going to talk about later. So first, let's have economic attributes. So as you can see, we have two cities here, London and New York. So first and foremost, global cities are the hubs of the global economy. So no city is a global city unless it is an economic powerhouse, dominant in finance, trade, manufacturing, or business services. So some cities such as London or New York command several economic sectors. Okay, so others dominate only one sector, but if that sector is globally important, so is the city. So is the city. So Los Angeles, for instance, and its entertainment industry. Other attributes such as good schools and culture are vital components of a global city, but the economy pays for it all. And the next one, of course, we have number two, size. So for the most part, no city under 1 million people need apply. So San Francisco and Zurich, with their specialized clout, are included in some listings, but they are exceptions. Otherwise, all global cities are big cities, like 3 million people or more. It takes size to over all the attributes needed to be a global city. But of course, we need to take note that size isn't enough. So some of the world's biggest cities like Cairo, Mexico City, Lagos, or Manila, they are nobody's idea of a global city and may never be widely accepted. And also, we have human capital, number three. So this means having a storehouse of smart, educated, creative people. The percentage of the population with a college degree counts. So that's the number of universities and their quality. So any global city must understand the outside world and have links to it. So its ability to attract brains from around the world is vital. And also number 4, we have the K to 12 education. At the upper wage end of the socioeconomic scale, this means good schools for the children of global citizens. Entrepreneurs and investors will shun a city where their children get a bad education. Right? At the lower wage level, this means a solid education for the army or workers, truckers, cooks, small manufacturing employees, electrical workers, retail workers, home a global. And let's proceed to number 5, the foreign-born residents. So tied to human capital is the sheer number of foreign-born residents. Some are expatriate professionals living abroad for a job for a few years, like bees flitting from flower to flower. They're a mobile source of knowledge of best practices from around the world. So large immigrant populations are more often poorer and less educated, but they are both cause and effect of urban vitality. They go to global cities because that's where the jobs are, and once there, add their new blood and verve to that vitality. And number 6, we have culture. So culture is also a cause and effect of a global city. A strong economy pays for the museums, universities, symphonies, and theaters that make a city more than a labor pool. This is also a draw for global citizens who have a palette of places to live, work, and do business. And high culture is only a small part. Good restaurants are crucial, so are recreation and sporting events, so are nightclubs and wine bars and rock concerts. So global citizens will go to the place where their brains and education can be. And let's have number 7, tourism. So because global cities are so big, so vibrant, so much fun, they are magnets for tourists. Tourists themselves are a major export industry. They come from outside to buy what the city has to offer. Then, having seen the global city firsthand, they take their impressions home with them, helping to create the buzz that any global city needs. And number 8, we have the political engagement. So this is the interaction between the city's political structure and the rest of the world. Now, obviously, national capitals have an advantage. They have the embassies and international organizations. When foreign leaders travel abroad, they are more likely to go to Washington than Chicago, or to Paris than Lyon. But a non-capital global city will have many consulates and should have major think tanks and a calendar of international conferences. So that is political engagement. And of course, we have also number 9, connectivity. So for the most part, this means air and digital connections to the rest of the world. If global cities are where global citizens meet, then a major airport with a full schedule of non-stop flights to other global cities is crucial. So is top-flight broadband connectivity. And also number 10, globally attuned local leadership. City officials must understand their city's place in the global economy. Then they must sell this global focus to voters for whom all politics may be local. This is hard. Pro-business policies that draw in global corporations and global citizens can conflict with policies needed to provide decent lives for those whom the global economy has left behind. In addition, cities need to spend heavily to keep their global status. Like global investors can afford these costs, but everyone else, middle class and working class, may be priced out of town. And number 11, we have quality of life. And of course, this includes public transit, the environment, safe streets, good health care, and efficient and honest local government. A reputation for corruption, pollution, or crime will damage a city's competitive power. That's why quality of life is very important. And we have the last one, the national political and economic climate. So even global cities are affected by their nation's policies. We all know that. Global corporations deal with national laws on visas, trade, currency, or repatriation, export supports, infrastructure investment, and other policies. For global investors seeking business-friendly environments, these national negatives can outweigh local positives. Countries that censor their media or limit digital communication communications make it harder for global citizens to live and work there. So now, let's move on to the general characteristics of global cities. So the first one, international. So first name familiarity. So for example, Paris or London, right? Next is active influence and participation in international events and world affairs. For example, the UN headquarters in New York City. Next is a fairly large populations. Okay, just like what I have reported earlier, that size is also one of the attributes of the global cities. And also a major international airport. For example, the London Heathrow Airport that serves as an established hub for several international airlines. And the presence of an advanced transportation system that includes several freeways and or a large mass transit network offering multiple modes of transportation, right? We have also the presence of international financial institutions, law firms, and stock exchanges. For example, the New York Stock Exchange. So, and we have the presence of advanced communications infrastructure in which modern transnational corporations rely. We have also the presence of world-renowned cultural institutions, for example, museums, schools, universities. Presence of several powerful and influential media outlets with an international reach, for example, the New York Times, Agence France Press. And we have the last one, the presence of a major sports facilities, home teams in major league sports, and the ability and historical experience to host international sporting events, for example, the Olympics or the World Cups. I know that you're familiar with those sporting events, right? So now let's talk about the GPCI. So what is the GPCI? So given the global competition between cities, the Global Power City Index or the GPCI evaluates and ranks the major cities of the world according to their magnetism or their comprehensive power to attract people, capital, and enterprises from around the world. So through measuring 6 functions, so by the way, these are the 6 functions. We have the economy, research and development, cultural interaction, liability, environment, and accessibility, providing a multidimensional ranking. So the GPCI is able to grasp the strengths, weaknesses, and challenges of global cities in a continuously changing world, not only through a ranking, but also through analyzing that ranking specific components. So, this is the GPCI report. This is the latest 2023. So, as you can see, we have the first one, London. Next is number 2, New York. Third is Tokyo. Fourth is Paris. Fifth is Singapore. Sixth is Amsterdam. 7 is Seoul. Number 8 is Dubai. Number 9 is Melbourne. And the last one is Berlin. So these are the top 10 global power cities. This is according to GPCI report 2023. I have mentioned earlier about the top 10 global power cities. These are the London, New York, Tokyo, Paris, followed by Singapore, then Amsterdam, Seoul, Dubai, Melbourne, and last one is Berlin. These are the global power cities as of 2023. That is the latest one. So now we will talk about the top 3 global power cities: London, New York, and Tokyo. So let's begin with London, since this is the first one or the top one. So London, number 1 position in the comprehensive ranking, increased its score for the first time in past 3 years. So London's strengths are driven by its cultural attractions and international airline network, with number 1 position in the cultural interaction and number 4 position in accessibility. So this city also maintains high rankings in other functions, with its lowest ranking in the environment is 11, indicating that the strengths are well balanced. So that's why maybe London is number 1. How about let's proceed to number two, or the top two, New York. So New York was trailed by London in the comprehensive ranking score this year. While New York is ranked number one in economy and R&D as in previous years, it has dropped at number 28 in environment and has not improved its ranking in livability function, which is ranked number 38, the lowest of the six functions. So it is characteristic of New York that there is such a large difference between its strength and weaknesses. So the next one is Tokyo, the top three. So Tokyo, which has been closely trailed by number 4 Paris since last year, maintained its number 3 position in the comprehensive ranking by a narrow margin. And this year Tokyo improved in the livability by increasing its cost of living, score as well as the total score in the cultural interaction. However, in the economy, it fell to number 10, and it shows a clear division between growth and decline in the different factions. So always remember the 6 factions, no, according to GPCI. So we have also the classification of cities. This is according to Globalization and World Cities Research Network. This is 2020. This is the latest one. We have the Alpha. Of course, we have the London and New York. So we have Beta. We have Gamma. So these are the cities, as you can see. No, you may be able to pause it for you to see all of the cities. So that's it. That's the end of our lesson. I hope you've learned something today. So again, we talk about the global cities. Goodbye, thank you, and God bless us all.